Matt Roloff is furious, more furious than fans have seen him in years. Rumors are swirling that his ex-wife, Amy Roloff, is quietly preparing to launch her own show, and Matt sees it as nothing short of betrayal. For decades, the two built a reality TV empire side by side, turning their family farm into the heart of little people, big world. But now, with the original series on shaky ground and the Roloff family divided like never before, Amy's next move could ignite a war no one expected. This isn't just about TV ratings. To Matt, it feels like corporate sabotage. After everything they've shared, the farm, the business, and years of public scrutiny, Amy stepping into her own spotlight threatens to rewrite the Roloff legacy. Fans are asking, is this Amy carving out her independence at last, or is it a deliberate strike at Matt's control of the family brand? And behind it all, TLC looms large. The network that made the Roloffs' household names now faces a choice: double down on Matt's vision of the future, or back Amy as she builds something new. For Matt, it feels like the ultimate betrayal, not just from his ex-wife, but possibly from the network itself. In this video, we'll dig into Matt's anger, Amy's rumored project, and the deeper family fractures that could make this the most explosive chapter in Roloff history. From betrayal and sabotage to the high-stakes business of reality television, this is the story of how two exes may be heading for their fiercest battle yet. Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. For Roloff Family latest news update, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. To truly understand why tensions between Matt Roloff and Amy Roloff are boiling over again today, we have to rewind the clock and revisit where it all began. For years, Little People, Big World wasn't just another TLC reality show, it was a cultural phenomenon. Audiences fell in love with the Roloff family's authenticity, the beauty of Roloff Farms, and the unique challenges and triumphs of a household where both parents, Matt and Amy, were little people raising four average-height children. From the very beginning, Matt and Amy represented two halves of the same whole. Matt was the dreamer, constantly coming up with big, ambitious projects to transform the farm into a theme park-like attraction. Amy, on the other hand, was the heart of the home, the grounding force, focused on the family's daily life, the kids' well-being, and creating stability. This push-and-pull dynamic worked for years, but over time, those differences started to chip away at their marriage. By the mid-2010s, cracks in their relationship were visible not only to them, but also to viewers. Disagreements over the farm, parenting styles, and even their approaches to life became harder to ignore. In 2015, after nearly 3 decades of marriage, Matt and Amy announced their separation. By 2016, their divorce was finalized, marking one of the most pivotal turning points in the history of the show. The divorce reshaped Little People, Big World in ways no one could have predicted. Fans who had grown accustomed to the Roloffs as a united front now had to watch as the family split into two very distinct paths. Amy eventually sold her share of Roloff Farms to Matt and moved off the property, something that devastated many longtime viewers who associated Amy with the heart of the farm. Life moved forward. Amy began dating Marek, and what started as a cautious step into new love blossomed into a full-fledged relationship. The two married in 2021, with cameras rolling to capture every emotional beat. For Amy, it was a new chapter, a chance to redefine herself outside of the farm and the marriage that had defined so much of her adult life. Meanwhile, Matt found companionship with Caryn Chandler, who had worked on the farm for years. Their relationship was controversial from the start, with some fans questioning the timeline and others feeling that Caryn's presence in Matt's life came too soon after the divorce. Still, the two moved forward, building a life together that looked very different from the one Matt once shared with Amy. It was during this period of separation that the real creative differences began to emerge. With Amy out of the farm's daily operations and Matt fully in charge, his vision for Roloff Farms became more ambitious, but also more divisive. He saw the property as a business, something that could be developed, expanded, and even sold for profit. Amy, however, still saw it as a family legacy, something meant to be preserved for future generations. These differences didn't just affect the family, they directly impacted the show. Viewers began to sense the shift. Little People, Big World was no longer about family unity, but about the fractures and conflicts that came in the aftermath of divorce. For TLC, it was drama worth filming. For the Roloffs, it was real life unraveling before the cameras. And so, the seeds of today's conflict were planted. The divorce didn't just end a marriage. It created two separate visions for the Roloff legacy. One centered on Amy's family-first values, the other on Matt's entrepreneurial ambitions. And as both moved forward with new partners, the tension between their worlds only grew more complicated. For years, Amy Roloff has been one of the central figures of Little People, Big World. She's not just Matt Roloff's ex-wife or the mother of Zach, Jeremy, Molly, and Jacob. She's also the heart of the family story that drew millions of fans to TLC. And now, whispers are spreading across fan communities, social media pages, and entertainment outlets. Amy may be preparing to launch a brand new show of her own. The reports started quietly. A few blogs hinted that Amy had been in talks with producers, while fan podcasts speculated that her recent comments about moving forward with new adventures could mean more than just her personal life. Soon, the buzz took off, and the idea of Amy Roloff, life after LPBW, became a hot topic. So, what exactly could this new project be? Unlike Little People, Big World, which has always centered on the Roloff farm, family traditions, and Matt's ambitious projects, Amy's rumored spinoff would focus more on her personal journey. Instead of documenting farm drama, it could showcase Amy's day-to-day life with her husband, Marek, her cooking endeavors, her charity work, and, of course, her evolving role as a grandmother. Fans who have followed Amy on social media know she's always been passionate about cooking and hosting. She's shared recipes, kitchen tips, and stories of family gatherings. Some insiders even believe her new show could combine reality TV with a lifestyle program, something in between a family docuseries and a Food Network-style presentation. Imagine Amy opening up her home, inviting friends and family over, and sharing both heartfelt conversations and delicious meals. That's a sharp contrast to what Little People, Big World has become in recent years. While the early seasons emphasized family unity and farm adventures, the later years shifted to feuds, divorces, and property disputes. For Amy, breaking away from that negativity and starting something fresh could be liberating, not just for her, but also for viewers who miss the warmth she brought to the screen. And this is where things get even more intriguing. Will TLC back her new venture? Or could another network swoop in? TLC has a long history of extending spin-offs from its successful reality shows, but insiders suggest the network's relationship with Matt may complicate things. If Amy partners with TLC, it would feel like a continuation of the Little People, Big World legacy, though with a very different focus. On the other hand, if she moves to a rival network or even a streaming platform, it could create direct competition with Matt's version of the Roloff story. That's exactly why, according to some close to the situation, Matt sees this as sabotage. In his eyes, Amy starting a new show is not just about moving forward with her life. It's about pulling viewers, attention, and maybe even production dollars away from the Roloff Farm brand he's fought so hard to maintain. From his perspective, Amy isn't just creating content, she's challenging his legacy. But fans? They seem to be thrilled. Many longtime viewers say they would gladly watch Amy in a new format, especially one that leaves behind the endless tension and returns to the warmth, humor, and honesty she's known for. To them, Amy's new project isn't sabotage. It's salvation. From Matt's point of view, Amy's rumored spinoff isn't just another show. It's a direct threat to everything he's worked for. For Matt, the Roloff name, the farm, and the brand built over nearly 2 decades on television aren't just storylines. They're his life's work. And to him, Amy stepping into the spotlight with her own project feels less like harmless competition and more like a betrayal. Matt has always viewed himself as the protector of the Roloff legacy. He's poured years of sweat, energy, and determination into building Roloff Farms not just as a business, but as a family empire. Even after the divorce, he insisted on keeping the farm central to the family's identity and the show's success. Now, With whispers that Amy might create her own version of the Roloff story, Matt reportedly fears the public will start to see two competing narratives, one led by him and another led by Amy. One of Matt's biggest concerns is the possibility of Amy airing private family conflicts that were never meant to leave the Roloff household. Little People, Big World has already shown plenty of drama, arguments about the farm, divisions between siblings, and the fallout from Matt and Amy's divorce. But a spinoff could go even deeper. If Amy chooses to spotlight disagreements or bring old wounds back into the spotlight, Matt worries it could permanently damage how fans view the family. And then there are the kids. For years, Matt has argued that the children should be cautious about reality TV exposure. Zach, Jeremy, Molly, and Jacob have all had different relationships with fame, with some pulling back from the cameras altogether. If Amy's rumored show tries to include the kids, or even their children, Matt sees that as crossing a line. To him, the Roloff children shouldn't be pulled between two shows, two contracts, or two competing parent visions. The thought of Zach or Jeremy being asked to choose between appearing on Dad's show or Mom's spinoff is exactly the type of family division Matt has tried to avoid, at least in public. Beyond family concerns, Matt is also worried about the business side. In his eyes, two Roloff-centered shows running at once could split the audience. Fans might pick sides, Team Matt or Team Amy, rather than staying loyal to the Roloff story as a whole. That could lead to lower ratings, weaker brand partnerships, and confusion around which show tells the real Roloff story. From a branding perspective, Matt sees it as diluting everything he's built. For Matt, this isn't just about TV. It's about protecting the Roloff legacy, the farm, and the family name. And if Amy's project really does go forward, Matt's fury may only be the beginning of a much larger battle, one that could pit ex-spouses against each other in a way the public has never seen before. If there's one thing we've learned over the years, it's that the Roloff family doesn't just live their lives on camera, they live them under a microscope. Every disagreement, every choice, every move gets magnified, and when Matt and Amy are at odds, the ripple effect is unavoidable. This rumored new feud over Amy's potential spinoff is no different. It puts the Roloff kids right back in the spotlight, and fans are already wondering how each child will respond. Let's start with Zach Roloff. For years, Zach has been the closest to the family farm and to the legacy that Matt has worked to preserve. He even tried to purchase part of Roloff Farms, a dream that ultimately fell apart when negotiations with his father soured. Since then, Zach has distanced himself, not just physically by moving his family to Washington, but emotionally as well. If Amy is truly launching a new show, many fans believe Zach might quietly support her. After all, Zach has often been portrayed as more loyal to Amy, especially after the farm fallout. But he's also cautious. With his own young family and a desire to protect Tori and their kids, Zach may choose to stay neutral rather than ignite another war with his dad. Then there's Jeremy Roloff. Jeremy has carved out his own world since leaving the show, building his brand with Audrey through books, podcasts, and social media. He's also one of the children most critical of the way TLC has handled the family story. Some fans speculate that Jeremy might quietly support Amy's independence. Her breaking free from the TLC mold mirrors the path he and Audrey took years ago. But at the same time, Jeremy has been openly aligned with Matt on values like preserving the farm and building legacy. If this feud deepens, Jeremy may not pick sides publicly, but his silence could say everything. What about Molly Roloff? Molly has always stayed private, living a quiet life in Washington with her husband and avoiding the drama that seems to follow her family. Historically, Molly hasn't weighed in on these conflicts, and chances are she won't start now. But even in her silence, fans interpret her distance as a subtle rejection of the constant fighting. If Amy pursues her own show, it's doubtful Molly would appear. Her priority is privacy, not television. And then there's Jacob Roloff, the youngest and perhaps the most outspoken when it comes to criticizing the reality TV industry. Jacob has called out the show in the past for exploiting the family, and he's made it clear he wants nothing to do with the cameras. His support for Amy personally isn't in doubt. He's often been seen working on the farm with Matt, but his values seem to align more closely with Amy's independent spirit. Still, Jacob's biggest role in all of this might be as a cautionary voice, reminding everyone of the costs of turning family into a storyline. Of course, we can't ignore Tori Roloff. Tori is married to Zach, but she has her own influence and fan base. Tori has been open about her frustrations with the show in the past, calling out the pressure and scrutiny that comes with reality TV. If Amy does launch something new, fans speculate that Tori might quietly back her mother-in-law's decision to carve her own path. After all, Tori knows better than anyone how draining it can be to put your life out there for millions to judge. At the same time, siding with Amy could put her even more at odds with Matt and Caryn, and Tori has never shied away from being honest about her feelings. Then there's the hardest part, the grandkids. Jackson, Lila, Josiah, Ember, Bode, Radley, and the rest of the Roloff grandchildren didn't choose any of this. They didn't sign up for feuds or television negotiations, they just know their grandparents as Grandma Amy and Papa Matt. And yet, the deeper the family divides, the harder it becomes to shield them from the tension. Fans have already raised concerns online, asking whether the ongoing drama between Matt and Amy is creating fractures that could one day impact how the grandkids see each other or how close the cousins remain as they grow older. Meanwhile, the fanbase itself is just as divided. On social media, you'll see comments ranging from, "Amy deserves this chance. She carried LPBW for years," to "Matt built the brand. She's sabotaging him." Some accuse Amy of cashing in, while others argue that Matt has already moved on with Caryn, so why shouldn't Amy pursue her own path? It's a digital echo chamber of conflicting loyalties, with fans effectively reenacting the Roloff family feud online. This division, between parents and kids, between fans themselves, highlights the central tension of the Roloff story. What started as a wholesome look at a unique family has turned into a saga of sides, rivalries, and broken unity. And as Amy's rumored spinoff looms larger, the question isn't just whether TLC will support it, it's whether the Roloffs themselves can withstand yet another fracture in a family already splintered by fame. The fallout from Amy's rumored new show isn't just about one family feud. It could reshape the entire future of the Roloff brand. For nearly 20 years, the Roloffs have been one of TLC's most bankable families. But if Matt sees Amy's project as a form of corporate sabotage, the question becomes, could he finally walk away from TLC altogether? Matt has never been shy about his frustrations with production. Over the years, he's voiced that the show sometimes edits him into the villain role, while painting others more sympathetically. If Amy's new project does move forward, especially on a rival network, Matt may decide that continuing with TLC isn't worth it. Walking away would mean closing the chapter on Little People, Big World forever, leaving fans without the familiar backdrop of Roloff Farms. Then comes the million-dollar question, will Amy's project succeed, or will it fizzle? On one hand, she has a loyal fan base that admires her resilience, humor, and authenticity. Audiences may crave a show that highlights Amy's life post-divorce, her marriage with Chris, and the new dynamics of her children and grandchildren. On the other hand, the competition is steep. Without the farm as the centerpiece, Amy's project will have to carve out a new identity, one strong enough to keep viewers hooked. Of course, this isn't just a personal battle. It could spark a corporate one. TLC has invested heavily in the Roloffs, and if Amy partners with another network, the possibility of legal disputes looms large. Non-compete agreements, contract restrictions, and exclusivity clauses could come into play. If things escalate, TLC may step in aggressively to protect its territory, potentially leading to lawsuits or a full-blown network war. And what about the farm? For years, the land has been the symbol of the Roloff legacy, one that's already been fractured by family disagreements. If the Roloffs splinter into separate projects, the farm risks becoming little more than a backdrop to a family that no longer shares one story. Some fans worry that the brand itself could collapse under the weight of division. Others believe that new beginnings, whether through Amy's project or Matt's own independent ventures, could reinvent the Roloff legacy for a new era. Ultimately, the future of the Roloffs hangs in the balance. The decisions made in the next few months, whether it's Matt staying or leaving TLC, Amy moving forward or pulling back, or TLC tightening its grip, will determine if the Roloff story continues to thrive or fades away as just another reality TV dynasty that couldn't survive its own success. When we step back and look at everything, this isn't just another reality TV scuffle. It's a culmination of years of tension, personal wounds, and business rivalries. Amy's rumored new show represents freedom and independence for her, but for Matt, it feels like betrayal, a direct challenge to the legacy he believes he built with his own hands. The Roloff family has been fractured before, but this time, it feels different. Zach and Tori have already stepped away, Jeremy and Audrey have their own path, and even Jacob and Molly prefer a life far removed from the cameras. Now, with Amy and Matt on opposite sides of a potential TV war, the very foundation of Little People, Big World seems to be crumbling. This isn't just business, it's deeply personal. It's about history, love, divorce, loyalty, and a legacy that now hangs in the balance. Fans who have followed this family for nearly 2 decades are left wondering, can the Roloffs ever heal, or has too much damage been done? One thing is certain, the story of Matt, Amy, and the Roloff family isn't finished yet. And whether it continues on TLC, another network, or simply in the hearts of fans, the impact of this family's journey will never be forgotten. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.